Some of you are struggling, to say the least. So I figured I would give you guys some basic tips. Last time we had this one on one conversation between me and you, I talked about how I was tired of being single. And to be honest, I really didn't have zero intentions on it landing the way that it did on the channel. I really was bored and I went on a rant. And then next thing you know, people are just hitting me up out the woodworks, which is great. I totally appreciate all of the compliments, words of encouragement, and just everything that you guys said in the comments and you guys' perspective. Like, for real, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, I appreciate you guys chiming in. And like, we're the Scribe Squad, so we're a family, right? So here's the thing. This is something that I think people are just kind of struggling with in general. So I figured I offer my 2 cents on how to ask me out. Because people are trying like wild ways and like, yo, marriage proposal. Like, let's just take this down a notch. Let's simplify it really quick. All right, so step number one to asking me out, or just some girl like me out, is to really take the time to, like, do your research. If you're finding me on social media or some platform like YouTube, do your research and try to find out some things about me. I'd say that the number one key for me being like attracted to somebody, besides the physical, we know that, but beyond the physical, is to have, some type of an intellectual connection. I love to be intellectually stimulated. And, some guys are just shy, but be able to converse. I can carry an entire conversation. I have purposely stopped doing that so that way I could see what somebody else brings to the table. And of course I communicate and I'll keep the conversation flowing, but I purposely stopped just carrying conversations because I want to see if you could hold your own. So step number one would be kind of like introduce yourself, build a rapport with me. So whether that's DMing me on Instagram, Twitter, or emailing me like on YouTube, like see if you could strike up a conversation. If you're the type of person, if you're shy, then I would prep ahead of this conversation. Have something to talk about. I'll talk about anything. Obviously, music is, that's easy for me to talk about, but everybody comes to me and talks about music. Like, bring up, like, teach me something, like a book or like some skill that you learned or something that's interesting. No need to impress me. Keep it 100 all the way. Or we can talk about politics. I love talking about politics, or just what's going on in the world, society, basketball, sports, you name it. Step number one is build a rapport and just have a conversation. And we're having this conversation like via social media or maybe even via text at this point. It'll be time to move to step number two. This is before we even go out. We haven't even probably met or hung out yet. We're now at step number two, is to call me on the phone or FaceTime me or Zoom, whatever it is that you have, right? And then let that continue to flow. Again, if you're one of those shy people, write down what you want to talk about ahead of time, right? And if you make that solid attempt to have something to converse about, I will see that, and then I'll carry the conversation if you get stuck at some point, right? And so then, we're at step number two, right? We're talking on the phone, FaceTime. Now that we've had some type of, just basic knowledge about each other, now it's time to flirt. This is the flirting stage. Now, let me give you tips on the flirting. So on the flirting, right, of course, you say something like, oh, you got pretty eyes, or whatever the situation, however you want to flirt with me. It should be non-sexual flirtation. Non-sexual flirtation. We ain't even met yet, big dog. So don't be tapping too far deep into the flirting. That's a turn off for me. It's like if we're in the first 5 conversations and you already bringing up sex, it's a no-no. It's a no for me, big dog. I got to go. Gotta go. So don't even bring that up. If I give you a compliment, if I say, you're really sexy, know that that is a physical attribute, like compliment. That's not a ding, 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 I want to sleep with you. That's more of me saying I'm physically attracted to you. I think you're fine as hell. You return that compliment on that level. Now, if I take it up a notch, then you take it up a notch. But if we right here with it, it shouldn't go from compliments to you sending me a picture of things that I didn't even need to see. Like, calm that down. Calm that down. We are in step number 2. So let's say we at step number 2 for a few phone conversations. You know what I'm saying? We just talking, we just chopping it up like, woo, and it's flirting, it's back and forth, and I don't really want to get off the phone. You don't really want to get off the phone. It's time for you to take it there to step number 3. Boom, 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 boom. What is step number 3? Ask me out on a date. Now, a lot of dudes will be able to do the question. You'd be like, let me take you out sometime, right? And then so most females can be like, take me out sometime. That doesn't cut it for me. Like, real talk. So if I'm already there with step number 2 and I'm feeling you and I want to go out, step number 3 is so key on how you ask to take me out. This right here could set it all up or it could let it all down. And I'm going to tell you a major key. When it comes to me or just any female, have a plan. Ding, 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 ding. If you think you're ready for step number 3, have a plan. Because the type of female that I am, when you be like, yeah, I want to take you out, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, when? Need to be ready for that answer. And then you be like, oh, Tuesday. Okay, and then my next question, well, let's say we're there, right? My next question is like, what are we doing? Because I could think of something, but I want to know if you've been listening to our conversations. Have you been paying attention on the clues I've given you or cues that I've given you on what it is that I like? And then I want somebody who is assertive, who executes their plans, you know what I'm saying, and is a boss like me. And so a real boss like me is going to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to take you to go mini golf and we're going to go here. I'm going to pick you up at 6 o'clock. We're going to go to this restaurant. We're going to eat that. That's how I want you to ask me out. I want you to already have a game plan. It shouldn't be off the cuff. Like, no. Have a plan when you're dealing with me and when you are approaching me. Because if not, the way that I'm going to take it is going to be like, all right, he's either not interested, he's not serious enough, or he ain't got it together. Like, that's how it's going to come off. So step number 3, have a plan when you ask. And then also don't come at me crazy with the question. Like, just be nice, be polite, and be a gentleman. Be like, yeah, I would really, like to see you meet up in person and hang out, right? You keep it a general, and then you wait for my response. If I'm like, yeah, that sounds like fun. And then you ask me when, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I don't know, but blah, 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 this day or whatever. Like, you keep going until I tell you what day I'm available. Like, that part. And once I tell you what day I'm available, then you hit me with the ding, 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 the plan. Have a plan. Like, and I want you to be bold with it. Be like, yeah, okay, so we're going to go here at this time. Then after that, we're going to go here and we're going to have a good time. Boom. Like, boom. Okay. And then, so here's step number 4. Are we, so we step number 3, because this video is just all about asking me out, right? Step number 4, though, to secure the deal, is you have to do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Now, nobody wants to sit here and tell you like all this, but I'm just gonna tell you, as females, we're testing you from start to finish. It's one big test. It's one big evaluation of like, okay, how does he respond? How does he act? How does he boo, boo, boo? It's like, it's a constant evaluation of like just figuring it out. Like, okay, all right, check. Ooh, red flag. Like, we're literally doing that. And as men, you guys probably aren't. I don't know. Maybe some of you are to a certain extent. But as females, we really do that. It's very calculated. So if you tell me that you're going to be at my house at 7 p.m. and we're going to go here and we're going to go there, I expect that to exactly take place. Now, mind you, circumstances arrive. So if you have some circumstance that comes up, you go ahead and you communicate about that circumstance. Meaning that unless something really bad is happening the day of, an hour before, you should not be canceling. Because that, for me, gotta go. Unless it's a legit circumstance as to why you cancel. You do it a second time, you can forget it. You can absolutely forget it. The other thing is, do not be late. I hate that. My biggest pet peeve is waiting on people. I do not like my time wasted. So please do not be late. Or even if I show up to your house, right, or whatever, and you're getting ready, if we say a time that we're going to be ready, there's about a 10-minute window that you should be in there as a man. It is a huge turn off for me. This is me personally. Turn off for me when dudes take longer to get ready than me. Ooh, my ex used to do that. I hated that. I absolutely hated that. I'm like, I'm the type of chick, I'm pretty low maintenance. Now, mind you, I dress for the occasion. So if we're going to go out or something, like, yeah, I'm going to throw on a dress, whatever. If we're going to the movies or we're going to do something active, I'm going to dress according to that. Chances are, depending on where we're going, I may or may not have makeup on. It just depends on the occasion, because I personally feel like I don't need all that. I am comfortable in my own skin, and you should be falling in love with me, not necessarily this painted image that you see all the time. I think of, like, you know, getting fully dressed up as like Scribe. That's almost like a costume or like your uniform when you go to work, right? So Scribe the artist is a lot different than Scribe in her everyday life. With that being said, biggest turn off is men who are just in the mirror like, oh my gosh, you're a dude. Nobody cares. Nobody is looking at you that tough. And if you care that much, turn off. Gotta go. I like my men very low maintenance. Yes, I want you to groom yourself, take care of yourself, you know what I'm saying? Get a haircut when it's time to get a haircut, all that. But you should not be spending more time in the mirror getting dressed and getting ready than I am. That's a no, big dog. So, with that being said, you have 4 steps. 4 steps that should help you secure the deal when it comes to me. So hopefully people will watch this video before they approach me. And I am very approachable. Like, it probably comes off as me being highly intimidating, and I understand that. And if I intimidate you, then to a certain extent, maybe you're not meant to be in my world. But I'm very approachable. If you approach me with respect, like, if you come in and you like, and you introduce yourself, especially if we're out in public or whatever, you introduce yourself like, hey, you know, I'm such and such. I thought you were really attractive. I just wanted to walk over and say hello. I'm going to talk to you. Even if I'm not like 100% interested, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to have a conversation with you. You can approach me. Like, it's a-okay. Now, mind you, with all this being said, I can be honest and sit here and say, and I had that whole rant about I'm tired of being single, but I'm really not focused on that. I have so many things on my list of things I have to execute this year. So where I'm at with it is executing everything on my year-end goals, right? And then 2, I'm going to continue, you know, go on dates, enjoy myself because I am in my 20s and why not have fun? That part. And if the right person comes along, and it seems like we're on the same page, we lining up with each other, then great. Then I'll be in a relationship. But until then, we're gonna have some fun. All right, so I hope this helped you. But of course, chime in the comments. I want to have a very constructive conversation. Maybe I'm utterly ridiculous to expect this. It is what it is, though. And I'll see you guys next time. Love you. Bye.